We have special guest Susanna Hoffs here.
I think on the last Bangles tour. It had been 9 years together.
For millions, Susanna Hoffs was the voice and face of the 80s, an icon whose sideways glance from the stage could make the whole world swoon. As the frontwoman of the legendary all-female band, the Bangles, she defined a kind of cool that was both glamorous and authentically rock and roll. But recently, a rumored moment on stage one that was never supposed to have happened has brought her back into the spotlight for a reason nobody expected, leaving fans absolutely stunned. A supposed wardrobe malfunction, an accidental reveal, has ignited a firestorm of clicks and whispers all over the internet. So, what really happened? Is there any truth to the story that she accidentally left little to the imagination? And more importantly, what has become of the beloved rock star since the dizzying heights of her 80s fame? The truth is far more interesting than any rumor, and it opens a door into the incredible life and stunning transformation of a true music legend. We're separating the myths from the facts to uncover Susanna Hoffs' incredible life today, a story of pop stardom, sudden breaks, reinvention, and a brand new career no one saw coming. Before the sold-out stadiums and chart-topping hits, Susanna Hoffs was a young woman from Los Angeles with a guitar and a dream. She was born into a creative family that nurtured her artistic spirit. Her mother was a writer-director and her father a psychoanalyst. It was a home buzzing with intellectual and artistic energy. Growing up in the 60s and 70s, she soaked up the revolutionary sounds of the Beatles, the Byrds, and the folk rock movement sweeping through California. This wasn't just background music. It was the blueprint for her future. While studying at UC Berkeley, Hoffs dove into the punk and new wave scenes, inspired by the raw power of bands like the Ramones and the trailblazing art of Patti Smith. This unique mix of 60s pop melodies and 70s punk attitude would become her signature. After graduating, she moved back to LA and placed an ad in a local paper, The Recycler, looking for other musicians to start a band. The universe answered. Two sisters, Vicky and Debbie Peterson, saw the AD, along with bassist Annette Zell. They met up with Hoffs in her parents' garage, and the chemistry was instant. They all loved 60s garage rock and psychedelic pop. And from that very first jam session, something special was born. They first called themselves the Bangs, but had to change it to the Bangles after a legal issue. It was just a small bump on their road to greatness. Their 1984 debut album, All Over the Place, was a hit with critics. It didn't blow up the charts, but it earned them a loyal following and the respect of their peers. It was raw, energetic, and showed off their incredible harmonies. But it was one particular fan who would launch them into the stratosphere. Prince, the superstar, loved their sound so much that he gifted them a song he'd written, Manic Monday. Released in 1986, Manic Monday was a game-changer. The song shot to number 2 on the Billboard charts. It was the world's perfect introduction to the Bangles, and especially to Susanna Hoffs. Her lead vocal was charming and wistful, and in the music video, her huge, expressive eyes made her an instant star. But that was just the beginning. Their second album, Different Light, was a massive commercial success. That album was home to another monster hit, Walk Like an Egyptian. It was a quirky, infectious song the band wasn't even sure about, but it became a global phenomenon, hitting number 1. The video was on constant MTV rotation, and its iconic dance became a cultural touchstone of the 80s. With Hoffs, the Peterson sisters, and new bassist Michael Steele, the band had its classic hit-making lineup. Hoffs, in particular, became the focal point. The media couldn't get enough of her. On stage, she developed her signature move, a subtle, sideways glance at the audience while playing her guitar. It was coy, confident, and captivating. It made every person in the crowd feel like she was singing right to them. The success kept rolling with their third album, Everything. In 1988, this album featured the driving rock track In Your Room, a top 5 hit, but it was the ballad Eternal Flame that cemented their legacy. Co-written and sung by Hoffs, the soaring romantic masterpiece became a number 1 hit across the globe. Legend has it she recorded the vocals in the nude, a story that only added to her mystique, but the massive fame came with a price. The media's intense focus on Hoffs as the lead singer started causing friction. The Bangles had always been a democratic band, where everyone sang and wrote, but the outside world was telling a different story. Paired with the relentless pressure of touring, the tensions began to boil over. By 1989, at the absolute peak of their fame, the cracks became too big to ignore. The Bangles disbanded, leaving fans heartbroken. The dream run was over, and Susanna Hoffs, the poster girl for 80s rock, was suddenly on her own. Decades after the Bangles' reign, Susanna Hoffs' name started trending for a reason that had nothing to do with a new album or tour. A rumor, fueled by short-form videos and clickbait headlines, began to spread like wildfire. The story claimed that during a performance, Hoffs had suffered an onstage wardrobe malfunction that stunned fans and left little to the imagination. These whispers gained traction fast. The headlines were vague but suggestive, designed to spark curiosity about an onstage slip or an unintentional reveal. Some reports even tried to connect it to a more recent event, where paparazzi snapped photos of Hoffs in a bikini at the beach. Those articles claimed a minor wardrobe slip happened but were really just celebrating her ageless beauty at 65. The narrative was a confusing mess. Was it an old onstage incident or a new beach photo post? The internet didn't seem to care, blending the two into one big, buzzy non-event. The strange part, for all the headlines, there were no actual details. No credible news outlets reported it. No official statements were made. The incident seemed to exist only on gossip sites and social media threads. The phrase accidentally left little to the imagination was everywhere, but no one could produce a video or a reliable account of what supposedly happened. It was a digital ghost story, built on suggestion instead of substance. So, what's the real story? After looking through archives and credible sources, the answer is nothing. There is no evidence of any significant wardrobe malfunction that ever impacted her career. This whole buzz appears to be a modern invention, created by an internet culture that loves to invent celebrity mishaps for clicks. Recent videos with titles like Susanna Hoffs shows off more than she wanted to are a classic baton switch, pivoting to talk about how great she looks on a beach or her revealing creative process. Why would a rumor like this pop up now? It's a mix of nostalgia and how modern media works. Susanna Hoffs is still a beloved figure, and her music is tied to a generation's memories. That makes her a perfect subject for nostalgic content. Add the internet's hunger for celebrity oops moments, and you have a viral story. True or not, the irony is that this fake rumor has done something remarkable. It's reminded everyone of Susanna Hoffs. People might come for the gossip, but they stay for the real story. And the real story of her life after the 80s is infinitely more compelling than any wardrobe slip could ever be. The so-called incident just serves as a gateway to rediscovering not just the icon of the past, but the resilient and ever-evolving artist of today. Before we get to Susanna Hoffs' incredible transformation and what she's really up to today, we want to hear from you. What's your all-time favorite Bangles song? Manic Monday, Walk Like an Egyptian, or the timeless Eternal Flame? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're enjoying this trip down memory lane, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a story about your favorite music icons. When the Bangles split in 1989, Susanna Hoffs was at a crossroads, one of the most famous women in the world. She was suddenly on her own, without the band that had been her family. The pressure to launch a solo career was huge. In 1991, she released her debut album, When You're a Boy, which had a more polished pop-rock feel. It gave us the top 40 hit, My Side of the Bed, proving she could still craft a catchy tune. But the album didn't hit the same commercial highs as the Bangles. Critics were mixed, and the public seemed to have a hard time seeing her as a solo act. She later said the experience was a little bit scary, but also fun. She was trying to grow up in public, but it was a tough transition. Her second solo album, the self-titled Susanna Hoffs, came out in 1996. It was praised by critics, but again, didn't make a major splash commercially. It was around this time that Hoffs began to realize her identity wasn't tied to chart positions. She started exploring other creative projects and, most importantly, building a life for herself outside the music industry machine. A huge turning point came in her personal life. In 1993, she married Jay Roach, a filmmaker who would go on to direct massive hits like the Austin Powers series and Meet the Parents. Their marriage gave her a stable, supportive foundation away from the pop world. Hoffs made a conscious choice to step back from the spotlight to focus on her family and raise their two sons. This wasn't retirement. It was a reprioritization. Also let her make music on her own terms. She formed a fun faux British 60s band called Ming T with actor Mike Myers and musician Matthew Sweet, which appeared in all 3 Austin Powers films. It was a joyful, no-pressure project that let her just have fun. Her collaboration with Matthew Sweet turned into one of the most rewarding partnerships of her career. As Sid and Susie, they released the Under the Covers albums, a series of beautifully curated cover songs from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. The albums were a hit with fans and critics, proving her incredible skill as an interpreter of music. Then, in the late 90s, the dream came true for Bangles fans. The band reunited. They were first asked to record a song for the Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me soundtrack. The experience was so good that it led to a full-blown reunion. They started touring again and released a new album, Doll Revolution, in 2003, followed by Sweetheart of the Sun in 2011. Even though bassist Michael Steele left again, the core trio of Hoffs and the Peterson sisters proved their musical chemistry was still there. This whole era was a profound transformation. Susanna Hoffs had successfully figured out life after stardom. She had detached her self-worth from chart performance and rediscovered her passion for creating. She built a family, nurtured partnerships, and even made peace with the band that defined her youth. This was the real reveal, a woman who quietly and deliberately reshaped her life into something sustainable, meaningful, and completely authentic. Lately, Susanna Hoffs has entered a new, vibrant chapter of her life, defined by creative freedom. Far from slowing down, she has diversified her artistic output in ways that have surprised and delighted her fans. Her transformation from an 80s pop princess to a multi-talented creator is officially complete. Musically, her solo work has been personal and critically acclaimed. Her 2012 album Someday was hailed as a masterpiece. American Songwriter magazine called it easily and undeniably Hoffs' most definitive musical statement to date. This wasn't someone chasing trends. This was an artist in full command of her vision. In 2024, she gifted fans The Lost Record, an album she'd recorded in her garage back in 1999 but never released. It was a confident move, a way of reclaiming her own story. But maybe the most exciting new development has been her emergence as an author. In 2023, Hoffs released her debut novel, This Bird Has Flown. The book, a witty romantic comedy about a one-hit wonder musician getting a second chance, was met with rave reviews. Critics called it a total knockout and a rock star redemption romance. It's clear she drew from her own life, filling the story with an authenticity that only someone who's been there could provide. The book was so well received that Universal Pictures immediately bought the film rights. Today, Susanna Hoffs is more active than ever, but completely on her own terms. Her social media is a delightful mix of music, throwback photos, and charming everyday moments. She has a real connection with her fans, who celebrate not just her music, but her timeless grace. She continues to perform live at festivals and special events and is a regular on the tribute concert circuit, often sharing the stage with other music legends. The incredible transformation of Susanna Hoffs isn't just about how amazing she looks at 66, it's about her evolution. She has transformed from a pop star, subject to the whims of the charts, into a self-directed creative force. She's a musician, a collaborator, a performer, a songwriter, and now, a novelist. She has navigated the highs of global fame and the quiet lows of reinvention with inspiring resilience. The girl with the sideways glance has become a woman who looks life straight in the eye, fully in control of her own story. From the dizzying heights of 80s stardom with the Bangles to the quiet determination of her solo career, Susanna Hoffs has crafted a life of remarkable resilience. The recent internet buzz over a phantom wardrobe malfunction only proves how much more interesting her real story is. It's a story not about a single, fake incident, but about a decades-long journey of growth. She handled the pressure of being the face of a generation, the challenge of going solo, and the personal choice to put family first, all while never stopping her creative work. Today, she isn't a relic of the past, but a vibrant, contemporary artist. As a celebrated musician and a successful debut novelist, she has proven that true talent can't be confined to one decade or one medium. The eternal flame of her creativity burns as brightly as ever. Susanna Hoffs didn't just walk like an Egyptian. She walked her own path, and in doing so, showed us all what it truly means to be an icon.